What's next for Bitcoin? Will we go down, or are we due for a large short squeeze that would put us at a new all-time high per Bitcoin in this month of October? Today we will discuss it. I will also share several Memecoin picks I'm looking at currently at this stage. There are very interesting things happening in the base Memecoin ecosystem currently. We will talk about Politify plays, we'll talk about election thesis, we'll talk about Trump as well, and some other very interesting things on the marketplace. You don't want to miss this video today. Consider pressing the like button, and without further ado, let's start. We see a bunch of people starting to call for Bitcoin all-time high. Bitcoin monthly chart looks like this and nobody seems to care. Excellent. I was first, I call it at 3rd of October. Have you guys checked the monthly candle recently? Yeah, this is going to 100k. First, I said it 3rd of October. We are breaking 75k BTC before the end of October. You heard it here first. First, you heard it at 3rd of October. Feels like people don't realize how close BTC is to all-time highs. First, as well, called it on 3rd of October on Twitter and I think on YouTube a bit earlier as well. Right now we are at pivotal point BTC wise. We were seeing like a small correction, small consolidation around this level. I would say that we are in the range currently at this level. We might be seeing the bottoms of this range, but it's not like large range, right? The bottom of this range is around $66.9 thousand at this stage. I would say that we might be visiting the bottoms of the range, but overall I think we should be going higher. All the funding, all the sentiment on the marketplace, everything that people are doing currently, it just screams about it. I do like the sentiment, to be honest. I'm in some chats, like I'm checking out what people are writing, and yesterday I was able to encounter something that probably most people have in their minds currently. I'm sure that at least half of you don't trust me. You don't believe me. You don't want to trust my word because I was liquidated many times by the market, which means that I was wrong by the market. So market made a clown out of me, right? And that's why you don't want to trust me. And this is so fucking bullish at this stage because I'm seeing this sentiment overall in the marketplace. People are taking profits, people are exiting, people are very cautious, they're not on leverage as well, and they're thinking that, yeah, maybe we will be going higher, maybe closer to the November after the election, and maybe November and December. Nah. You will already be in the liquidity creation zone, 100%. And I'm seeing these estimates from other people in the marketplace that BTC should be topping the dominance to 60% probably in the upcoming 1 to 2 months, and BTC will be a king for quite a while. I don't think that things will actually take this much time to happen, because once BTC reverses, like these candles, they will be quick, and there is an underlying purpose for them to actually be quick. The purpose to not let people enter the marketplace. This is something I'm seeing. Previous reversals, we definitely had like a very bullish sentiment and people were voting with the money. Currently, they don't believe. Half of the market, if not even more, were expecting another deep, like a bull trap to like $40,000. This did not happen. And I told you that it would not be happening, right? And moving further, I don't think that we should be seeing like a huge dump and essentially like reversal to 50k and things like that, right? I do think we should be reversing. We should be moving through the wall of shorts at $70,000, and we should be seeing new Bitcoin all-time high this month. And we will have switched to two metas. We will have a switch to Politify. We'll have to switch to BTC ecosystem, to runes, right? These are the two things that I'm seeing currently at this stage. And some rune charts, what's interesting with them is they actually had quite a night of a build-up recently. So it's not like the bottoms currently. They're pretty much pumping from the start of October, which means that smart money were accumulating, understanding that they are heavily undervalued at this stage, right? At the same time, like if you're buying something like 3, 4, 5, 6x from the bottoms, it's still kind of alright. Because you have to understand what amount of liquidity is actually going into the space, right? Obviously, you have to buy the assets that have the longevity out there. So the reason I'm showing this meme on base is because a range of meme coins on base currently have the same chart. And that's why my speculation is that just based on these charts in the first place, we should be having base season. Like we are 5x up from the bottoms on this token. This is probably the play around election, right? I don't have any, I was not paid to shield it as well, just a culture call. And I would like to, yeah, I just like the narrative of this thing, to be honest with you. And I like the chart obviously because we can see one after another assets on the marketplace. They just repeat this pattern. They just repeat this cup and handle constantly, and people are still fading. Like, it's crazy to me. Even me, like, even personally, on some assets, I'm kind of afraid to sell them and rebuy into the assets that are down here currently. But this is probably something that you should do as something how you like multiply and make a lot of money currently. You'll wait till assets are somewhere here, right? Maybe even higher. And then you sell a chunk and you rebuy into the asset in the next narrative that you think should be pumping. And if you're watching this channel, you know all the narratives that will be pumping, and you're rebuying into something here. But you might not even like take a look at the narrative. If you're buying into this chart, like not the chart that's bottomed out, like not the chart that's here, right? But if you're buying into this chart, that means that, yeah, you're not getting the best deal on the marketplace, but the asset that you're buying into had certain reaction already. And that's why like it has a higher chance of essentially surging up and moving higher. Trump is something I was checking out just this morning. And the objection that I had is like, wow, it's not moving and it's not reacting into the market. And that's why it's essentially bad. But we see that it's up. It's actually up 9% on 6 hours time frame, which is crazy. So we might also be seeing a reversal here. So the deal here is better. This is Trump on base, right? The deal here is better. However, it's a bit more riskier because in ideal case scenario, you would want Trump on base to be here as well. But these are the things that, like, the reason I'm showing these memes is because they all repeat the same chart in this stage, and they all should be moving. Something I like on base, I just like the content, I think it's quite interesting, is weirdo. And yeah, exactly the same chart one more time. That's why I'm saying that we are probably seeing the base meme season soon. It kind of works well with the overview that I'm seeing for the overall market, right? We do have to have the rotations of liquidity in the marketplace. And on Solana, you might say that a range of like memes that were bottomed, they mostly exhausted their upside already, right? This is something where you still have a bunch of upside. Like, these are 4 different memes I just showed you. Arguably, they all have the same chart. Like, this is not just for lulz, right? You have to see these things. It's just crazy to me. $4 million market cap for this thing as well. It was bottoming out in September. It did a 10x already. It will probably continue because it's the same chart as Sigma, as other things. It's just important not to feel FOMO, not to be buying the charts that are like at the tops currently, and just be buying these charts. And like sooner or later, they will be playing out. The closer to the pattern of this chart we are, the larger the chance that this thing will be playing out, especially along with narrative. This is some frog. We have some math around frogs, around Hopi currently, around frog as well. So this is something that will be happening 100%. Trump token on the base, I do actually believe has the largest upside currently. I might actually be buying some. Yeah, it might actually have the nice upside. Kind of liquidity market cap ratio is a bit fucked, but this is something that you want to see in the current market. Yeah, it's just only bots trading these things and showing some volume. This one is quite interesting. I've also seen USA token on base shilling this Trump token, right? So, and to provide you with some comparison, Trump currently is somewhere here. Trump on base like this one in comparison to the USA chart, right? So I'm just showing you things that I've seen on the marketplace yesterday and that I essentially like at this stage. Coming back to our election meta and frogs as well. Frog is correcting 1.3 million at this stage. Well, kind of proper default correction from my point of view. We got a rejection from new all-time highs around this level, right? We are correcting here. Unfortunately, it's connected with the presence of Cabal play on the exact same token on the marketplace. I would want to tell you to be cautious. Like, this thing, it kind of similar to Bread from the way it's set up, like liquidity and market cap. However, you're just at the mercy of the dev here. Like, you don't have default people that were able to acquire like a nice supply. I think I've seen something that they, in the Telegram group, that they have whitelisted snipers, or I'm sorry, they have whitelisted wallets, which means that they blacklisted snipers, which means that they essentially banned them, right? And like, yeah, you're really the mercy of the dev, and I think dev has like, I've seen the Twitter account with the same Telegram handle as the dev. He has like 50 followers on Twitter. So whether or not he will rock, I'm not sure. Like, this is just crazy. So Frog is like a safer CTO token, right? Bug is the cabal thing out there. It's just crazy. Like, you can't have nice things anymore on this marketplace. Should I be like the dev of Endion Blast as well? Because it's very, very hard to compete with people that have the supply of the token. Like, if I would have been the dev on Endion Blast, I think we would probably be doing better overall, right? I would probably just launch the same like bundle shit as Crash or as Endion ETH. Essentially, I would just scoop up the whole supply and tell the market maker to just follow the chart of Ethereum. And in each and every video, I will say, guys, look, this thing follows the Ethereum, dot to dot. At the same time, I just give the task to a market maker to print the chart that follows the Ethereum exactly, right? But this is a different topic. Several action plays. Pega is doing quite well. Peppa and Trump. Interesting thing that I bought, I think, just yesterday, and it's already up to X. Trump. So if you were present in the market back in May and June, like, I get heavily destroyed on this coin. I think I bought like 20,000 worth at around $8 million market cap, which essentially was the exact top. It dumped like crazy. Currently it's a CTO, right? So people scooped up the supply and they started to push this thing. Kinda has a nice narrative because this is a character for Mad Fury as well. Like, this is Trump and Peppa. So it's pretty much the same as Pega. Now, Pega is Peppa and MAGA, right? And this is Trump and Peppa. So like election narrative, Peppa, I like this. I just randomly bought it yesterday and yeah, we did it 2x already. We'll see what will be happening moving further. I'm just sharing this with you guys. Autism is just surging up like crazy with no stop. I've seen some larger influencers buying into it currently. We might be seeing a double top pattern right here, but I would obviously want for this thing to continue. Again, I do think we are due a next leg up in Retardio, and this thing is being accepted on the marketplace similarly to Sigma. And if it would be similar to Sigma, it should be reaching $80 million market cap at least. But holders of Autism, they're even like maybe a bit more bullish on actually this might be like even a better pick than Retardio out there. So we'll see. I kind of was selling on the run up, so I'm actually looking for a point to buy back at certain stage. Like, I would love if I would buy back at these levels, as it's essentially obviously surging up. Still have some, but yeah, I would honestly, like, my story with this token is just fucking crazy. Like, it's like a pure example of over trading. I can show you the wallet. Like, I was buying 1% of this thing back at the bottoms like multiple times. I was buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling. It's like pure issue of over trading. Eventually, I bought back some supply, but even I was not able to hold the whole supply I bought back for some reason. Like, I don't know what the fuck has happened with me. I used to be like, I was holding things nicely. And in this market, like, when you have a runner, this is a lesson I want to share. If you have the runner, don't look to fucking sell it. Look how you can increase your allocation to the runner. Add more on the dips. Don't fucking try to like sell high, buy low. Well, it depends on your strategy. If you're doing it right, if you're doing it nicely, that's up to you, right? But things, when they run, they tend to run. They tend, and there are usually reasons why things run in the first place, right? And if you're in the runner, be grateful and just hold, from my point of view, right? And obviously have like the speculative value of the asset in your head to know like where these things can actually go. Autism is like a dark horse, like it can really, really high. Like, I was in the chat of this thing, I was saying I bought 1% back at the bottoms, back in like August, back in September as well, and I fucking sold. It's crazy. Well, 1% of this thing is like 180k currently. I have way less right now. Crazy. And even when I rebought, I had nice supply and I still sold it into some shit. Like, I don't know. It's like over trading in this marketplace or something, but you still have to be active to understand the things, understand what is happening in the marketplace currently. But yeah, it obviously depends on the asset. I do believe that a bunch of people actually sold this thing on the run up because they did not believe. And a bunch of people are actually probably getting back, heavily trimming the supplies that they had. Like, I've seen some guy selling 40k at $4 million or something, which was crazy, right? And he would have like, it's essentially, I think at 40k, at 4 million, 40k was 1%, right? So currently it's 180k. Was he able to make 160, 180k in 2 days? I doubt that. Like, there is a very, very small amount of tokens that were able to give something like this to him, right? So this is something I just wanted to go through. The other token in connection to election I bought is BMAGA. So this is like a very degenerate, and I didn't want to buy it in the first place because you have to understand what is the reason for these weeks. The reason for these weeks is the fact that it was pumping based on the news, right? I think BMAGA, it stands for Black MAGA. However, in my video around election, I was showing you the Elon token as a token that is not that obvious around the election and around Elon, because Elon probably would be doing some things around election, right? And it was like at $7-8 million market cap, which is kind of large, right? Even if it pump, well, it's still. And I just saw that risk reward here might be better, because like risk here I would say is limited, because on Ethereum people are usually not selling tokens to zero at least, right? It's usually guys on Solana are doing that. So it's definitely some type of like CTO or something. Maybe people bought here and they just back holding currently, right? And we went down as down as 100K. So we are recovering from these levels. You might say that, yeah, we might be printing out the same pattern, and this will probably be the case, but it's very hard to say because, yeah, it's like a huge shitty. But follow my thought process. This is BMAGA, right? You have Elon, you have Trump, and you have MAGA. The reason I bought into this thing is because I thought that, well, maybe this actually might be a better play to 3 of the tokens at the same time. And if you're looking at this way, it kind of makes sense, right? Because initially I thought like it's just some bullshit, right? But if it's a better play, if it can become a better play to Elon, to MAGA, and to Trump, it would be right. And like, I'm not usually buying this level of shit coins on Ethereum, right? And the only reason I'm doing that is because of the election meta. It's because of the fact that people are still neglecting it heavily, and people are definitely not allocated nicely. I was telling you about Trump for many days, and I was telling you about it on my Twitter page as well. We seem to be breaking out from this pattern, from this triangle at this stage. By the way, there is a reason why I have this part of the pattern copied. I think I will tell you in the coming couple of days, right? We're trying to break out, like right at this level. Maybe once you're watching this video, we already broke through. Once we break out, I expect us to surge higher, right? Because this is the main level of resistance. We have a huge liquidity area currently. Next one would probably be like somewhere around here, around $380 million, right? Once we break out, yeah, we should be going straight to 380, and then have some consolidation around that, and then some consolidation probably like maybe around 500, maybe around all-time high, right? But I would expect for this thing, to be honest, to print new all-time high short term. And people still might not want to buy this because year election, like it's not there and nothing is happening. I do think they should be buying this. I do think that election narrative is heavily neglected, and it's one of the, you have to understand what is happening on the marketplace. If we are staying specifically in PvP scenario, right, it might be not the best narrative out there, because if we are just in PvP scenario, this means that we will just be PvPing between current holders on the marketplace, and people understand that, well, I'm buying into this, probably some people are holding a bunch of supply because they bought early, so I will just become the exit liquidity, and they won't like to participate in this PvP because they would understand they would have to dump at a certain point, right? Only if we will be entering PvE, and the point number 2, Trump goes up after election. These are the 2 things that I'm seeing, right? So you might say that people are not buying into this because there is still a lot of uncertainty at this stage on the marketplace, but I would believe that more and more will be coming to the election. More and more people will essentially start to feel more certain, because it will just be more FOMO. Currently, there is uncertainty that, wow, who will win? What actually happens if Trump loses? And these like 60-40 polls on poly markets, like, yeah, it's on poly markets, but polls out there in terms of like from just default audience, default people, the citizens of the US, and not citizens that would be able to vote as well. Like it's still at 50-50, and that's why, like, crypto token wise, tokens around Kamala are definitely outsized bet at this stage, because they can rig the election, Trump can lose and things like that. But anyway, so why this might be becoming PvE is because BTC will be reaching new all-time high before the election in the month of October. You are privileged to know this information because you are watching this channel. No one on the marketplace has this information. People start to come to this information, as I shared with you already, but this is something that will be happening. People don't know this information, and that's why they can't trade, they can't position themselves according to this information, right? But I know it. And I told you about this at 3rd of October. And this is exactly what will be happening with this reality moving further. And arguably, I do think the Trump token is actually the one to attract real retail players. I was moving through the Murat list and I was sharing this with you. All of the Murat list at this stage is PvP only, specifically PvP. The only thing that's PvE that Murat hates, he does not like tokens about the election, but his meta is over, at least short term. And I called it within 24 hours. Within 24 hours, I called the local top for the Murat meta and Murat coins. I called it within 24 hours. Do you understand this? I called it. It's on Twitter and on YouTube, I think, as well. By the way, subscribe to my Twitter. So this is the only altcoin out there, Trump. As mentioned, I do think Trump intelligence specifically were working on the fact and turning him into a cult leader as well, because they understand these things. They understand that members of the cult, they have the best option in attracting other people into the cult as well. It's very, very nice for the election out there, right? So with us seeing new BTC all-time high this month, what will it essentially transfer this market into? Firstly, it will transfer this market into the huge tsunami of liquidity in the first place, because there is so much sideline capital. Even current market members, people who are active, like some influencers, people who are active on a daily basis, a lot of them, I would say even most of them, are not positioned full at this stage. Even the fact, even despite the fact that they're saying that they're bullish, they're not voting with the wallets at this stage. We have a giant pile of sideline capital from people who are active currently. Then we have a bunch of people that were robbed and the money were taken back in March and April and they left in the summer, but they are not positioned as well. They're sidelined as well. And on top of it, with BTC surging back to all-time high, with BTC breaking through $80,000 and 100 probably after the election, but we'll see. There will also be a bunch of new players coming to the market. And we will have partially PvE scenario short term, because the presence of additional liquidity, it will make it PvE for current players on the marketplace. But our goal is to not rob them quick. I do think that they will still get robbed quick, right? Just because of the fact that current market participants, the only thing they know to do is just rob people. But at the same time, I do think that with the surge up in the marketplace, there will be so much liquidity that robbing people short term will not be yielding the max result. And robbing people longer term will actually be bringing a longer result. I'm talking about essentially launching coins and letting them leave, letting them pump, hold things, right? So this is actually the time where I expect holders to outperform traders. You think about that, holders are already outperforming traders heavily. I was sharing this tweet on my Twitter page that people who are making the most money in meme coins, they're not in the business of trading. They are in business of holding and letting others know about what they're holding and why. They are in business of sales and marketing. You cannot trade that successfully, and all these traders out there, they still use, most of them, they still use the followers as exit liquidity. They just say, oh, I entered this thing, I entered that thing. It's not trading. It's more about buying something and sharing your conviction with people at the same time, and just attracting people if they like the narrative and if the market essentially picks up the narrative. Second thing is I was sharing is that what if Trump actually wins, and we have a pretty nice chance for that as well, and the token does not go down after the election. It really turns into the Trump cult, at least for some time, right? At least after the election, we, for example, have dump on the election, and then we're pumping like crazy after. People who dumped here, they are rebuying here, which even ignifies the pump even more at this stage. And here, if you're holders, here is somewhere that you would want to be selling, right? I'm not the holder of Trump at this stage. I wanted to long, but longs are unfortunately only available on MEXC, and I don't believe that they will allow me to long a nice chunk of the, build a nice position with this token on MEXC, but I'm in a bunch of better plays. So if this narrative will be playing out, I'll be making money 100%, right? And you kind of even can make money on the expectation of this narrative. And some people, they can already be risk-free on some coins. They took the initials out and they just have the supply that they left, and yeah, they're just waiting. But yeah, this is the topic for the other day. So this is the overview. If we are seeing BTC in all-time high this month, we would be like 5 days before the election, right? And this would be one of the best performing narratives. The reason for that is because narrative is heavily neglected, and the charts, they just look primed to pump at this stage. It's like base meme charts also look quite nice, and base, like, it's American blockchain as well. You might think that like base is pumping a bit in connection with will be attracting certain liquidity on base as well, because like it's an American blockchain. And that's why I was showing you USA token, because like the narrative is based USA, it's American blockchain, it's also blue. Blue is obviously the color of the Democrats, right? It's still nice in terms of the narrative wise. So this is the overview I'm seeing. And with the pumpage of BTC, we will also have a BTC echo pump, right? But do not neglect the situation with the election and the amount of attention that will be focused on the elections out there. I do think honestly that BTC echo might already be pumping. Like the charts for BTC echo might already be more mature, because we have to understand that Trump is the first mover and it did not break out yet, right? And BTC echo things, they might be like breaking out nicely at these levels already. So this is my overview. This is honestly something that I'm seeing on the marketplace, something that I wanted to reiterate on one more time currently, because I do believe that this is important. I'm kind of calling all the Memecoin narratives recently. I think I only just missed Murad list, right? Despite the fact that I actually knew about it. But after that, it's spot on. We'll see if I would be right. If I would be right with BTC echo and election, it's just crazy. Election, I think, very, very nice outsized returns. If Trump is like up like 3x from the bottoms, shitcoins, they're still quite bottom. There are a bunch of bottom pips, and some of them I'm showing them to you. Yes, they are low caps. Yes, you might think like he's shilling some shitcoins to his audience and stuff. I just believe in the outsized returns in this case. And this is just a very, very simple bet you might do. Like you might throw in them like very, very small amount of money, and there is a higher chance that they will appreciate in value. Things like PEGA, for example, like I was sharing it first, I think at 200, 300K market cap. If you just threw 1K in, you already can take your initials out, and moving further, it will probably be moving higher. Because yeah, the narrative is still neglected at this stage. I explained all the reasons for the neglection. Bitcoin surging up will handle all of the objections and will remove this blockage that is present before the liquidity of the market to come into this thing. As this is one of the most narrative, it also has outsized potential currently at this stage, and it should be pumping based on the charts of this thing as well. Other thing I'm seeing is the charts of base out there, and just based on these two facts, and just based on the fact that a lot of Sol Memo coins, they exhausted their potential at this stage, like they pumped already. This is the reason, based on all of these things, based on the election narrative, based on the fact that Sol memes exhausted the potential, and based on the charts I'm seeing on base, I am expecting Ethereum season, and based on Ethereum chart essentially as well, Ethereum season that will be coming into Ethereum layer 2s. First of them, it will probably be base out there as the most meme coin wise developed layer 2 ecosystem out there, and it just had a bunch of scams back in March and April, like Cabal, rinse and repeat, like on the repeat, they were just rinsing money from like websites, from the same deployer wallet, from the same templates, like just crazy to me, right? So this is it. Thank you very much for watching this video on the only channel that is not using you as a liquidity, but actually giving you alpha. Let me know if you have any comments. Let me know if I actually should become the meme coin dev. I probably won't be doing it because of the legal things out there, but let me know. Just entertain this thought and just share it with me, because this fucking space, like, it's hard to fucking compete with people that are devs for the tokens, or if they control most of the supply of CTO token because they scooped up with the friends at the bottoms. It's quite hard, right? So you probably need to have your own bundled shit that you can run properly as a business, and then you compete as two businesses, right? Because otherwise it's not that fair out there, right? Thank you very much for watching this video. Stay healthy and rich, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow.